What happens when you take a T-34 and put a big ass gun on it? Well, let's find out. Welcome my fellow scrub lords to another Super Unicorn review. Welcome back you Russian bias fanboys. This week we are covering the T-34,100, a premium 6.7 battle rating Gulag paint train that shouldn't be in the game. And why is this? Because it's way too much fun. It is literally a T-34 with a big ass 100mm gun that fires shells of pure communism. This gun is a definition of sukabliating things into the next Cold War. I have a personal theory about this machine that Stalin ordered its creation because his T-34 OP5s didn't produce enough Russian bias. However, the only other thing worth noting on this vehicle is that the almost perfectly flat machine gun port on the hull has been removed, which effectively removes any weak points on the slope. Depleted, rolled, stamped, glued, bent, twisted, consumed, shitted out by Stalin himself, whacked together with a hammer and sealed with vodka stalinium plates. Now you can drive about with absolutely no fear of ever being penetrated. Okay, to be completely honest, the armor isn't that good, but it will still give you lucky bounces every now and then, which Shell Stalin approves of greatly. This puppy will set you back a good 6k golden eagles, so it is an expensive purchase. Unless you are a Bernie Sanders supporter and wish that he would just make a government program to give it to your lazy communist ass. Now let's get on with the review before GayJube sends me to the gulag. Mobility wise, it's essentially the same exact hull as the other 45,000 T-34s. The only difference being the removal of the MG port, which removes a massive weak point from the vehicle. As a result, the tank is faster than, well, I was going to say something along the lines of it being faster than sending political dissidents to the gulag, but nobody is faster than our glorious leader I mean Stalin. Its maneuverability is like a stereotypical Eastern Bloc junker that can turn on a fucking dime. This allows the T-34 to run rings around fat stupid heavy tanks like the Mouse. However, it does have some weaknesses, especially in the armor department. The hull armor of the vehicle is only 45mm thick, sloped back at 60 degrees, which at most gives it 85mm of frontal armor. The German Long 88 at 100 meters has almost triple that in penetration, so it's not likely to stop those rounds. However, the thing that most people bounce off of is the turret, which is about the size of the fucking Ukraine. Despite being such a big turret, it has a relatively small turret face, which angles outward at a steeper angle than the fucking Urals. Unless you hit the turret right in the face, it will just bounce and do jack shit. Speaking of doing jack shit, how's the gun? The gun is probably the best thing about this vehicle. The 100mm LB1 vodka tube has 3 AP shells available to it. However, the only two that you will ever need is the BR412B and the BR412D. The B is an APHEBC round with 212mm of penetration at 100 meters. What makes this vodka bottle useful is that it has more explosive filler than the top vodka bottle, which means that you will do more damage with this vodka bottle when you penetrate the target, and you will need to do as much damage as you can with that one round. Because even with a fully maximum crew, your reload time is still 11.2 seconds. It used to be better, but the commander got fed up with Boris the Loader's shit and shot him in the abdomen, so they had to make Vladimir do his job. In comparison, the King Tiger with an upgraded crew has a reload of 8.5 seconds, which means that you will get one shot to disable or kill the target. However, if you come across a vehicle that is very heavily armored, you can still use the top shell just as effectively. The D is an APCBC round with 226mm of pen at 100 meters, which means that if you are the unfortunate bastard to be matched up against a Mouse, you can still penetrate its frontal turret armor, but only from around 100 meters away. However, this kind of penetration gives you a lot of options and allows you to kill anything at your battle rating without much trouble. Also, a thing of note on the side, because the Russians don't know what gun depression is, they didn't bother to give it any. It only has a maximum of 3 degrees, which is borderline non-existent, meaning that cresting ridges should only be done when you are sure that nobody is going to shoot your dumbass. As for training your peasant crew, you should focus first on getting that reload down as fast as possible, so put your crew points into weapon reloading and leadership. After that, focus on targeting and range finding. And then tank driving. The expert and ace qualifications are also heavily recommended if you have the credits and eagles to buy them. You don't need to worry about modifications because you are a pay to win scrub lord and they come unlocked with premium vehicles. As for how you play it, this isn't a frontline battle tank. Use its vodka fueled 500 horsepower engine to get yourself into an effective ambush location and then hit unsuspecting enemies in the flanks. This is where your 412B ammo comes in with its higher explosive filler. However, if you get caught in a head-on engagement and you get the opportunity, load your 412D ammunition and pen the fucker. Also make sure to always angle your hull armor and take advantage of the game's broken angling mechanics to bounce enemy food items. And make sure to avoid terrain which forces you to use your gun depression, since you have none. So there it is, the 4th most overpowered tank in the game. Now get out there and show the enemy how communism works. Thank you for watching this shitty video, you Russian bias jerk-offs. If you want to witness the capitalist system, click the annotation on screen. If you want to support me, click on the more info icon and stop by my Patreon. And if you haven't subscribed already, go to the gulag. Now back to playing Total War Warhammer. See you next week, you scrub lords.